Good morning, I'm Bradley Miller, and this is my lovely wife, Peggy Miller. You're with the Miller Morning Meditation Minutes at Grace Connections Church. And today we're reading Mark 9:14 through 29. Jesus heals a boy with an unclean spirit. And I pre-read this, we discussed it a little bit, and now we're back discussing it again with you. And so what were your thoughts?
The one verse that struck me is immediately the Father. Hang on, wrong one. My eyes just skipped. It's where Jesus said, oh, here it is, in verse 23, and Jesus said to him, if you can, where he's quoting the Father, and then he goes on to say, all things are possible for one who believes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been thinking about that. And I think some people, I've heard people take that in what I believe to be an out of context way, where they say, well, I can build my business, anything is possible because I believe in God, I can do anything. I believe that what Jesus is talking about here is that the all things are possible is the overcoming evil. You are able to overcome any kind of evil if you believe. Because that's what God really cares about. God really doesn't care if you're a teacher or a businessman or a pastor. And he doesn't care if there's a big rock that you want to move out of your front step. Like to move something that would be physically impossible. All things are possible for those who believe. I believe I can move this 500-pound rock. Well, no, you probably can't. You can probably figure out a way to move it, but you probably can't move that 500-pound rock on your own. But what is possible is that we can overcome evil with God if we believe, if we have that belief. And then I love how the Father goes on to say, I believe, but help my unbelief. And he's acknowledging that there's room for growth, which then, if you look in the footnotes, at the very end when it says this kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer, the footnotes say that they say that it is because through prayer you strengthen your relationship with God, then your faith is strengthened, your belief is strengthened, and which then goes back to all things are possible for those who believe. I kind of got stuck in that little loop of belief in overcoming the evil that's around us. What about you?
The part that was getting me was when he answers the crowd over in 17, teacher, I brought my son to you, he has a spirit that makes him mute, seizes him, throws him down, foams, grinds his teeth, becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to cast it out, and they're not able. And he answered them, O faithless generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him to me. And I can hear the exasperation, the kind of like the point of frustration in Jesus' voice, that he is like, you just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. I get those things of why is he doing what he's doing if this is not
Seeming to be effective.
So
But you have to go back to the belief that God is in control and that all things are possible. All things that are in His will. Accomplishing God's will is 100% possible with faith. Accomplishing things outside of His will, that's not going to happen. Well, it may happen, but it's not going to be blessed. And to know what His will is, you have to be close to Him, and that relationship, like any other relationship, grows in hearing by reading, hearing and talking and communing through studying what we have right here in the Bible, where, well, I don't know what God wants me to do. Well, yeah, you do. There's a whole lot of pages right here. This is what He wants you to do. And then talking to Him about it. If he went to his Father as God, and like I can't imagine the tornness inside of him, and said, I really don't want to do this in Gethsemane. I'm really struggling with this. If there is any other way, I really don't want to do this. If he can go to God with that, we can go to God and say, God, I am really struggling with this. I'm not liking this path that you got me on.
Like Father says there, I believe, help my unbelief.
And you hope your unbelief is helped through relationship.
Mm-hmm. So, those are our thoughts for today. If you have any comments, put them in there, and we will catch you tomorrow.